Good morning, children. Oh, man. You sound like I feel this morning. Good morning, children. Good morning. All right, excellent. Very good. Children, who knows how to play the game Simon Says? Raise your hand if you know how to play Simon Says. Everybody knows the rules of the game, right? So I'll be Simon, and I'll say Simon Says, and you have to do what I say. But if I don't say Simon Says, and you do the thing that I'm doing, then you obviously are out, correct? That's how it's played, right? All right, so why don't you all stand up? Okay. Yeah, you might want to space out a little bit for this one. You can stand on the top step, second step, floor, so you're not all bunched up. There you go. Very good. Okay. Simon Says, stick out your tongue. All right. Simon Says, wiggle your ears. All right, very good. Simon Says, flap your arms. Jump up and down. Uh-oh. I didn't say Simon Says. You did not do it. Okay, all right, okay. Simon Says, march and step in place. Very good. Simon Says, raise your right hand. All right. Simon Says, your left hand. Okay, very good. Simon Says, go in circles. Simon Says, bow your head. Okay. Kneel down. Okay, you guys are smart. Okay, very good. You're good. You're good. All right, excellent. You can sit down. No, actually, I'm not playing the game. The game's over. You can sit down. Simon Says, sit down. Excellent. I did not have enough coffee for this morning. Okay. That's great. You guys did a great job with that. Now, what do you really need to do really, really well in order to be good at the game Simon Says? Listen. You have to listen, right? You have to listen. Anything else different from listen? The what? You need to participate, of course. You need to practice. Okay, excellent. One last one. You have to hear what Simon says. You have to hear what Simon says, correct. That's what's important with this game. You have to pay attention. You have to listen. You have to watch out, right? Because if you don't listen, you're going to get caught and you're going to lose the game. Well, today, we actually, in the church, celebrate a really important feast. We celebrate today the feast of our Lord Jesus Christ, King of the universe. And with that, we are saying that Jesus is our leader. Jesus is the one that we want to follow, just like we do with Simon Says. But the thing with this is, just like with the game, we have to listen very carefully to what Jesus is telling us if we want to be able to follow along. And we have to pay attention, especially in moments in life when we perhaps want to do our own thing, but Jesus is telling us, no, you need to do this. You know, those moments when you get angry at your little brother or sister, and you want to hurt them, but Jesus is saying, love your brother and sister. That's when you need to listen and do what Jesus says. When your parents ask you to do something and you would rather play your game, continue playing your game, again, that's when we need to listen and do what Jesus says. Respect your parents. You know, when somebody wrongs us, when somebody hurts us, and we don't want to forgive them, we have to listen to what Jesus says. Forgive those who hurt you. You see, my friends, we may say, sure, following Jesus, that's an easy thing to do. I can do that. But when push comes to shove, the reality is very different. we realize that following Jesus is not always easy, and that we have to pay close attention and to listen to what he's asking of us. Playing Simon Says is a game, but following Jesus Christ the King is not. So we have to watch out and pay attention, okay? So I want you to remember that, especially every time that you find yourself in those situations that you want to do something that you know Jesus doesn't want you to do, okay? So go back to your families now, and I'm going to talk to your parents for a little bit. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to spend some time with my family in a tradition that we used to do a lot when we were little, and we haven't done it in many, many years. But yesterday, we found ourselves at the Museum of Science and Industry for the Christmas Around the World exhibit. It's their 80th year doing this. For those who perhaps are not familiar with this, the Museum of Science and Industry for 80 years has been putting out trees that groups and communities would decorate to reflect a particular country. So you can see trees from all parts of the world. They're all the same tree, but they're decorated as Christmas trees all differently, according to the customs of that particular country. And there are little placards which explain in the name of the country, and of course, they talk about the decorations and how they're made, the customs that are traditional to that part of the world. They even have how they say Merry Christmas in that country. It's a wonderful exhibit, and if you've never had the opportunity to go see it, I highly encourage you to do that with your families. And as we were looking at those Christmas trees and enjoying all the different expressions of Christmas according to different countries, it occurred to me that tradition of Christmas around the world is really kind of an affirmation of today's solemnity of Jesus Christ, King of the universe. Because in that display, whether they meant it or not, we're recognizing the commonality that all those countries have with each other. They may be even at war with each other, as is often the case, unfortunately. But there is a common element, which is that belief in Jesus Christ. That these countries do recognize Christ was born, and they celebrate his birth at Christmas time. They recognize, of course, also too, that Jesus is enculturated in all the various different countries around the world, that the faith is expressed in those particular traditions of each country, so that we can really tangibly understand and feel and experience our faith. It's a wonderful exhibit that, again, I think the organizers of this never realized the impact that this exhibit would have and the religious significance that it conveys. Today's solemnity of Christ the King was initiated by Pope Pius XI in 1925. And the reason why he initiated this feast was because at the beginning of the 20th century, the church had begun to experience an ever-increasingly secular world that in some parts of the world was rather militantly trying to suppress the Catholic Church. And so Pope Pius XI came up with this solemnity which proclaims that Jesus Christ is King of the universe, meaning that, kings and presidents may come and go, but the King of the universe, Jesus Christ, is King for all eternity. And so that's what the church put in place. And oddly enough, in 1926, as an example of what the church was trying to deal with, in Mexico, they had what's called the Cristero Wars. There had been tensions between the government and the church in Mexico since the revolution in 1917. And so the Mexican government was really, again, trying to suppress the Catholic Church. Priests were being killed. Faithful believers who were hiding priests were also being killed. And so in 1926, this movement began to really resist the Mexican government. And as people were being killed, the rallying cry heard from so many martyrs was "Viva Cristo Rey, viva la Virgen de Guadalupe," which means, "Long live Christ the King, long live Our Lady of Guadalupe." Of course, we know Our Lady of Guadalupe is very dear to Mexicans and to many other people now. But they said, "Long live Christ the King." How quickly they adopted this solemnity as a rallying cry to help booster the faith. Thankfully, my friends, here in our country, in our society, we don't have to worry about such extremities. But it does get played out in various ways that we need to pay attention to. And I don't just mean in terms of religious liberty. It's not just, this vertical dimension between us and God. There's also a horizontal dimension that we need to pay attention to. Because, again, the title gives us the clue. Jesus Christ, King of the universe. That means Christ is King of all of created reality. And we have yet to understand that and really live that out in our faith life. Every time that there are stories about oil spills in some lake or some ocean, or pollution just blackening the skies, or lead in the water, or trash filling our oceans, we have yet to understand Jesus Christ, King of the universe, because we treat the earth as something that we can just throw away. Jesus is King of the universe, which includes the world. And as such, as members of this kingdom, are we listening to what he's telling us about care for the environment? Every time that racism rears its ugly head, and we're even afraid to talk about it because it makes us feel uncomfortable, we have yet to understand Jesus Christ, Lord of the universe. To really listen to what he says about how discrimination and racism and all kinds of injustices are sinful, and how we need to look beyond the color of each other's skin and to see these are indeed our sisters and brothers. Every time that people paint all immigrants and asylum seekers with a broad paintbrush and say that they're all rapists and killers and thugs and thieves and they don't deserve to come to our country, we have yet to understand and believe in Jesus Christ, King of the universe, who tells us, "I too, when I was born, when I was little, was also a refugee and fled from Bethlehem to Egypt for my safety. And now these children of mine also do the same. Let them in." Every time that women are treated like second-class citizens, again, we have yet to understand Jesus Christ, King of the universe. If we're going to hold up the Blessed Virgin Mary with the honor, of course, that is due to her, why won't we do the same with women? Every time that we wake up in the morning to yet another tragic story of 5 people killed and 18 wounded in an LGBTQ plus nightclub in Colorado Springs, we have yet to understand and believe in Jesus Christ, King of the universe, where Jesus tells us that there is no justification ever for violence, and yet also too, these are my sons and daughters, your brothers and sisters too. It's very easy for us to say, isn't it? Yes, I believe in Jesus. Yes, Jesus Christ is my King and Lord. But do we really? It's a lot more difficult than that, my friends. We truly have to listen and follow. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Simon Says is a game. Following Jesus Christ, King of the universe, is not.